Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So yeah, we need to talk because the Indiana Fever just walked out of this draft, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was a disaster, an absolute disaster, and I don't throw that word around lightly. But when you look at the picks, Raven Johnson, Justine Pissott, Jessica Timmons, and you actually put them into context with everything else this team has done, man, this makes no damn sense. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm annoyed. I'm actually really annoyed. It's late, I want to go to bed, but I cannot go to sleep without talking about this, because what the hell are they doing? Let's start at the top with Raven Johnson at number 10. Now look, I'm gonna be fair. In a vacuum, I don't think Raven Johnson at 10 is the worst pick in the world. I really don't. If you just look at her as a prospect, defense, playmaking, leadership, championship experience, sure, fine. Late lottery? Okay, I can talk myself into it. But we do not live in a vacuum, because this same Indiana Fever team literally just spent somewhere between $600 and $700K on Tyasha Harris, a point guard, a ball handler, someone who needs the ball in her hands to be effective. And now you draft Raven Johnson, who also needs the ball in her hands. And oh yeah, both of them play the same position as your franchise player, Caitlin Clark. Like, what are we doing here? I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again because it keeps happening. It genuinely feels like the Fever are building a roster that is designed to function without Caitlin Clark. Every move they make feels like, okay, but what if Caitlin isn't on the floor? And I'm sitting here like, why are we planning for that scenario instead of maximizing the one where she is on the floor? Because when Caitlin Clark is on the court, she should dominate the ball. She should run everything. That's the whole point. That's why you build around her. But instead, they keep stacking guards, more ball handlers, more people to take the ball out of her hands. And it's like, can we stop this nonsense? You already got Tyasha Harris for that role. Why the hell do you need another one? And don't give me this, we want Caitlin to play off-ball more garbage. I'm sorry, but that's just dumb. That's taking one of the greatest playmaking guards we've ever seen and saying, hey, go stand in the corner sometimes. No, that's not how this works. Then you've got Kelsey Mitchell, who also needs touches. You've got Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall. Like, how many guards do you need? At some point, it just becomes stupid roster construction, straight up. And that's the biggest issue here. It's not even just the Raven Johnson pick, it's the evaluation behind it. Because apparently, and this is the part that blows my mind, the Fever front office thought Raven Johnson might go top 5. Top 5! That is insane. That is absolutely insane. And again, I don't hate Raven Johnson. I think she can be a solid role player in the WNBA. But top 5? Come on, that's not serious basketball thinking. That's delusion. This is a classic case of overvaluing one-dimensional players. Yes, she's a great defender. Yes, she competes. Yes, she has intangibles. But she cannot score. And in today's game, if you're a guard who can't score, you better be elite at everything else. And even then, you're still limited. So when you take that player at 10, fine, whatever. But when you take that player at 10 because you think she's basically a top 5 talent, that's where it becomes a problem. That's where it becomes a what the hell are you doing situation. And then you hear the reasoning. Oh, she played for Dawn Staley. Cool, that's great. That's not a scouting report. Like, what are we talking about? She played for Dawn Staley, so she's going to be a great point guard. That's not how this works. Because the last time the Fever drafted a South Carolina point guard from a championship team, Destani Henderson, they cut her after 1 year. So clearly that logic didn't mean much back then, did it? This is what I mean when I say this front office feels unserious. They're making decisions based on vibes instead of actual fit, actual roster construction, actual long-term planning. And it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about Justine Pissott. I actually like that pick. I do. That's probably the one move where I'm like, okay, cool, that makes sense. Shooting, size, some upside, fine. That's a solid second-round pick. But then you get to the third round, and it's like they just completely lost the plot. You had options, real options. You could have taken Yarden Garzone, a legit shooter who could actually compete for a roster spot. You could have taken Hannah Stuelke, someone who could have battled in the front court, brought energy, brought size. Instead, you take another tiny point guard, another one, a 5'0" guard who realistically is not even going to make the roster. Like, why? At least take a stash player, at least take a flyer on size, at least do something that makes sense. But no, more guards, because apparently this team thinks you can win basketball games with 8 point guards and 0 balance. And when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, it gets even worse. In one single day, the Fever brought in 5 players. Do you know how many of them are 5'10" or under point guards? 4. That is 80% of your additions being undersized guards on a team that was already small. That's not just bad, that's ridiculous. That's the kind of roster building that makes you question if anyone in that front office actually understands modern basketball. Because look around the league, teams are getting bigger, longer, more versatile. Wings, forwards, switchable defenders, shooting everywhere. And the Fever? They're building like it's 2005, like it's the damn 1980s. We need grit. We need toughness. We need dogs. No, you need spacing. You need size. You need versatility. You need to build around your star. And right now, it doesn't feel like they're building around Caitlin at all. It feels like they're just collecting players. No direction, no plan, no identity. Even the free agency moves don't line up anymore. I didn't hate Misha Hines-Allen. I understood Monique Billings. I even kind of understood Tyasha Harris at the time. But now, after this draft, none of it fits together. Why are you paying Billings big money for 2 years when there are going to be better, cheaper forwards available next year? Why are you investing heavily in a guard and then drafting another guard in the lottery? Why are you stacking the same archetype over and over again? It's just bad planning. There's no other way to put it. This is a front office that looks like it has no idea how to build for the future, no idea how to maximize their current core, no idea how to balance a roster. They're not building around Caitlin. They're not building around Aaliyah Boston. They're not even properly building around Kelsey Mitchell. They're just throwing things at the wall and hoping something sticks. And that's not how you win in this league. Meanwhile, you look at teams like the Atlanta Dream, a team that wasn't even good last year, and they're making smarter moves. They're modernizing. They're evolving. That's the difference. Good teams adapt. Bad teams stay stuck. And right now, the Indiana Fever looks stuck. I'm not saying the season is doomed. I'm not saying these players can't contribute. But when you look at the process, the decisions, the logic, the fit, it's hard to come away from this feeling anything other than frustrated. Because this team should be in a much better position. You have a generational talent in Caitlin Clark. You have a cornerstone big in Aaliyah Boston. You have scoring in Kelsey Mitchell. That's a foundation most teams would kill for. And somehow they're fumbling it. So yeah, call it harsh, call it overreaction, call it whatever you want. But right now, this draft looks like a mess. And if they don't figure it out soon, it's gonna stay that way.